Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. President Dr. Samia makes a minor cabinet reshuffle. $1.9 trillion allocated for national grid stabilization and REA projects. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages at TBConline. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has made a minor cabinet reshuffle by transferring Minister for Culture, Arts and Sports Mohamed Omari Mchengerwa to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism. Mr. Mchengerwa is taking over from Ambassador Dr. Pindi Chana, who has been appointed to be the new Minister of Culture, Arts and Sports. Meanwhile, Head of State also has transferred Dr. Hassan Abbas to be the new Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism and has appointed Said Othman Yaqub to be the new Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Arts and Sports. Yaqub replaces Dr. Hassan Abbas. Before the appointment, Yaqub was the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Arts and Sport. In other news, President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has instructed government officials to evaluate tenders that will be offered for the completion of government projects so that they are finished on time. President Samia was witnessing the signing ceremony of 26 contracts worth 1.9 trillion shillings for the implementation of the National Grid Stabilization and Rural Energy Agency REA projects. She advised government officials and authorities not to fall into the traps and bureaucratic chains that lead to the delay of such projects. Here are more details with Lua Mohammed.
President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has witnessed the signing of the projects to stabilize the national grid and rural electricity at the State House in Dar es Salaam. Speaking immediately after witnessing the signing of 26 contracts, which will improve access to electricity in 336 areas throughout the country, the President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, has called on the government institutions that manage access to tenders for contractors to offer those tenders without buyers.
Uchaguzi au uteuzi wa wakandarasi hawa umefanywa kwa umakini mkubwa sana.
The selection of these contractors have been done with great attention so that these projects can be done quickly, and in order for us to get quick progress, we need quick decisions.
The President also spoke about the working permits and the change of the officials in some government institutions.
Kama wanataka wafanyakazi, mishahara ya kulipa wanayo haitoki kwenye kofa za serikali hazina.
If they want workers and they have wages to pay for a certain project or work, and the money does not come from the treasury, they should be given permission to do it because these jobs are not permanent. When the project ends and the jobs are also gone, then they should give permission to employers so that the projects can be implemented quickly.
Kwa hiyo wapewe ruhusa waajiri ili miradi ikatekelezwe kwa haraka.
The contractors who signed the contracts are urged to work and produce concrete results. Also, President Dr. Samia gave instructions to the government institution executives to make changes in their institutions when they see problems. Minister of Energy, January Makamba, says the demand for electricity is high in the country, but the government will ensure every village will be connected with electricity service.
Mahitaji ya umeme kwa Tanzania ni mengi.
The demand of electricity service is huge for Tanzanians. We have planned to supply electricity in the villages, and all villages will receive this service by December this year.
Disemba mwaka huu.
Rural Electricity Agency REA Director General Hassan Said says that the REA electricity project has already reached many areas in the country, while the Tanzania Electric Supply Company Limited, TANESCO, Director General Maharage Chande assures that the electricity connectivity has increased many folds countrywide. The National Grid Stabilization and Rural Energy Agency REA projects will cost the government more than 1.9 trillion shillings.
Now let's head on to Zanzibar, where the president of Zanzibar and chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has thanked the Swedish government for its support to various sectors in the Isles. Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks while meeting the Swedish ambassador in Tanzania, Ms. Charlotte Ozaki, at State House in Zanzibar. He says the assistance has facilitated employment opportunities while also boosting youth and women economically.
Very important for Zanzibar now because we are anticipating a lot of new projects, but we only have 100 megawatts so far, and it comes from mainland Tanzania, so we are not energy independent. So we would very much like to have our own energy, to be energy dependent, but of course renewable energy is preferred because of the climate concerns. So we are happy to talk to any companies from your country regarding that area. And just to mention about the feasibility studies that are required, indeed, ZECO does require a power master plan. Yeah, so we have to take it from the current needs all the way to the future needs. And I think it will be very good if we can get assistance, both technical and financial, when it comes to formulating our power master plan.
On her part, the ambassador of Sweden in Tanzania, Ms. Charlotte Ozaki, says the Swedish government will continue to work closely with the government of Zanzibar on various development issues.
We've worked closely with Zanzibar since many years, and I wanted to pick up on two things that you mentioned when we met in November, and that was energy and education. So there I wanted to just highlight that we have been working in the education sector through something called GPA, but also bilaterally for many years. It's mainly for primary education, and it is a system based on it's a result-based program where we work very closely with the relevant ministries here. We are also doing vocational training, something I know you mentioned. Our vocational training in Zanzibar is focusing mainly on girls, enabling girls to come back to school and finish their studies.
In other news, Vice President Dr. Philip Mpango says 2.9 billion shillings collected as property tax has been allocated to buy 54 cars and 916 motorcycles, which have been handed over to the Tanzania National Roads Agency, TANROADS, together with some ward officials. Mpango urges the officials to effectively use the vehicles for the intended purposes. Let's hear more from Apasia Ringo.
The President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government continues to facilitate its executives with means to simplify execution of their work. Today, ward executives, district and regional TANROADS managers are given vehicles to execute their duties more efficiently. The Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Philip Mpango, uses this opportunity to give instructions.
Ninyi ni kiungo muhimu sana, maana ndiyo macho na masikio ya serikali katika kutambua na kushughulikia changamoto za wananchi.
You are a very important link between the government and citizens in identifying and addressing the challenges of the citizens because you're closer to them. However, in order to implement this matter, it is necessary to ensure that the meetings with the citizens at village level are held as they should be. Without meetings, you cannot identify the challenges of the citizens easily, so you make sure you manage this perfectly.
Kwa hiyo, hakikisheni mnalisimamia hili kikamilifu.
Then it was the turn of the ward officials.
Sanapenda kusisitiza.
I would like to emphasize once again that these vehicles are provided to assist you in the implementation of your duties. I again express my opinion that you should fulfill your duties of managing the construction and repair of road infrastructure in your areas.
Kwa natoa tena rai, nendeni mkafanye kazi kwa weledi na uaminifu.
The Minister of State, President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government, Angela Kairuki, believes that this will improve efficiency.
Wote mtashuhudia ni namna gani ambavyo lengo lake kubwa na azma yake kubwa.
You may witness how the main goal of the president is to enable the people to continue to be the center of development, as well as to strengthen the relationship between the government and the citizens. Our belief is that these instruments will greatly help to facilitate travel for local government officials so that they can properly manage the procedure and monitor development activities. Honorable Vice President, we will continue to strengthen the lower levels by using the allocation of funds that we will receive and ensure that they are directed to important areas.
Kurahisisha usafiri kwa maafisa watendaji wa kata.
The cars and motorbikes will be distributed to 184 councils in the country.
The availability of specialized treatment for heart and kidney diseases at Chato Regional Referral Hospital has revolutionized health services in the Lake region. Many patients commend the government for the achievement, as in the past they had to seek the treatment in Mwanza and Dar es Salaam regions. Here's a report by Nazareth Ndekia, read by Lulua Mohammed.
This regional referral hospital, Chato, started providing health services in July 2021, where a total of 35 billion shillings was allocated for that fiscal year for its construction.
Mwaka mmoja na miezi sita tulivyoanza kutoa huduma katika hospitali yetu ya rufaa ya kanda Chato.
In a period of 1 year and 6 months, we started providing services in the referral hospital in Chato region. We started providing services with one building, the outpatient building. Since President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan came to power, our hospital has had a total of 6 buildings that have been completed. For the financial year 2021-22, the referral hospital of the Chato region, through the Ministry of Health, was allocated a total of 35 billion shillings, and in the financial year 2022-23, the government allocated 10 billion shillings, and until now we have received about 29 billions for the implementation and a completion of construction of the hospital.
Some services have started to be provided in the hospital.
Kugundua na kutibu magonjwa mbalimbali ya wagonjwa wa moyo.
Diagnosing and treating heart diseases using devices like echo and apheresis machine. The availability of the machine has helped in provision of services, as we have established a heart disease clinic in collaboration with the Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute, where the clinic is available every day. Also, we have established a special unit for kidney treatment known as dialysis. Our hospital has 10 machines for various services to treat kidney diseases.
Wanahitaji kutibiwa kwa dialysis, kusafisha damu kwa kuchuja.
After heart and kidney treatment, some of the patients praised the quality of medical services provided.
Kuja kupata matibabu hapa baada ya kusikia sifa za hapa jinsi inavyoendelea.
I came to get treatment here after hearing about this hospital and the services provided here. I have experienced good service and my condition has changed compared to how I came.
I have been getting this service from last year, December. So far, I am doing well, and this service is helping us a lot.
Moving on, 7 health centers in the region of Dar es Salaam and Mwanza have benefited from the allocation of various medical equipment provided by the Aga Khan Institute for the provision of health services in collaboration with the Polish Center for International Aid. Emmanuel Samuel reports.
Immediately after receiving the medical facilities on behalf of the Minister of Health, the Dar es Salaam Regional Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Rashid Mfaume, says the facilities will help to improve emergency services that benefited hospitals and centers.
The equipment for emergency services, emergency care services, that's very important because we are building like a strong system of improving the emergency care in Tanzania. So we really appreciate on that aspect. Just thanking the Polish government, the Polish Center for International Aid, the Aga Khan Health Services, and everybody who has made a contribution.
Dr. Rashid Mfaume also asked the beneficiaries of the health centers to ensure that the facilities are used for the intended purpose, while the Chief Medical Officer of the Mwanza region thanks the Polish Center for International Aid for providing the facilities.
Equipments, we will make sure that the equipments are used for the intended purposes, and for those equipment that normally last longer, they put budget for planned preventive maintenance. They make sure that they keep those equipments last.
The clients who are in need. So we promise we will use the equipments with the purpose intended.
On their part, A representative of the Aga Khan Institute for Emergency Services mentioned some of the hospitals and centers that have benefited. Furthermore, they have vowed to continue to cooperate with the government in improving the health services in the country.
Of the public health facilities, we will be targeting Mwananyamala and Temeke Regional Referral Hospitals, Chanika Health Center in Dar es Salaam, and Nyamagana Health Center in Mwanza. And we look to benefit these emergency departments, of course, with the hope that this is the first step and there is so much more to come.
So this project, therefore, will complement the government efforts in those regions where government is ambitiously making the drive to improve emergency care.
The facilities cost more than 600 million shillings. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
Thank you, Emmanuel Samuel, for that report. The Minister of State, Vice President's Office, Union Affairs and Environment, Dr. Suleiman Jafo, says the government will continue to cooperate with environmental stakeholders to fight climate change challenge. He was meeting the new Director General of World Wildlife Fund, WWF, Dr. Scoot Kirsten, who paid her first visit to the office.
That from this collaboration, Tanzania will be in a good position as a Minister of State in the Vice offices of WWF. And I believe that from the Director General who he was here today, and we discussed their role, I believe that this collaboration will be very strong, and I need it.
On her part, Dr. Kirsten assures that WWF will continue to cooperate with Tanzania through the ministry.
It is really to emphasize the close collaboration between WWF and the Minister of Environment, to show a renewed commitment to partner over the next years together on topics like forest landscape restoration or freshwater conservation, which is also crucial, particularly in the age of climate change, which I know is affecting Tanzania and actually the wider world and the African continent so severely. So we're here as WWF visiting Tanzania, visiting the government to show that we remain committed to be partners into the future.
On the other hand, the WWF Director in Tanzania, Dr. Amani Ngusaro, has thanked the government for the great cooperation given to WWF through Jafo's ministry.
This is very important for us as WWF here in Tanzania to have this kind of top leadership. So much work that need to be done. There is so much that need to be protected, but the challenges are so much as well. And often the government itself cannot fix everything. You know, we will need each other. We'll need the local communities. We'll need the civil societies. WWF is here to walk the talk and walk the journey with the government until, you know, the time that this great country, you know, realize the full potential and the economic development and all that. And I believe
Kitulo National Park is a protected grassland and mountain forest on the Kitulo Plateau found in the southern highlands of Tanzania. Locals refer to Kitulo as the Garden of God, while visitors refer to it as the Serengeti of flowers. Let's hear more from Apasiringo.
Kitulo National Park is located in the southern highlands of Tanzania in the regions of Mbeya and Njombe. This park is located between the peaks of Kipengere, Hororo, and Livingstone Rocky Peaks. It has a size of 412.9 square kilometers and is the first park in Africa to be established with the aim of taking care of plants, especially flowers. Kitulo Park is known as the Garden of God because it is unique in having natural flowers that come out every year from late November to April. When these flowers bloom, they make a beautiful carpet of various colors. The park is known as the main flight area. It carries various types of birds, such as working birds and birds that migrate from one continent to another and are seen during the same period as the flowers, November to April. These birds make a stop in this reserve as their place to breed and find food so they can continue their journey to other continents. There are documented 350 species of wildflowers, including lilies and fields of daisies. Highly thrilling for bird watchers, endemic species of butterfly, chameleon, lizard, and frog enhance the biological wealth of God's garden, natural orchids, and birds. Along with various attractions found in this park, there are plains, mountains, and waterfalls. Mhumbe Waterfall is one of the waterfalls found in this reserve, which is estimated to be 100 meters long. It is said that Mhumbe Falls is one of the most important water sources that pour its water into the Ruaha River and stimulate the prosperity of the Ruaha National Park. These falls are an attraction for many tourists who come to Kitula Reserve, especially for photo and environmental tourism. Welcome to God's Garden, Kitula. Welcome to Tanzania.
Fascinating indeed. And that item concludes local news tonight. International news up next. And here's international news with Anna Mwasioke.
The United Nations has said that the government has agreed to open 2 more borders crossing to allow aid in the country devastated by last week's deadly earthquakes. Spokesperson for UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the decision will make a big difference as the UN is now using just 1 crossing. So far, almost 40,000 people have been already killed by the quakes in Turkey and Syria. Many Syrians have been angry over the lack of aid to their war-torn nation. The government of the President Bashar al-Assad has blamed difficulties in rescue efforts on the impact of Western sanctions imposed on the country. But international aid groups say the key impediment are the Assad government's mismanagement and refusal to engage with all areas of the country. More than 5,700 people are now known to have been killed in Syria by 6 of February earthquakes. The World Health Organization says it's to hold an emergency meeting on the outbreak of the Marburg virus in Equatorial Guinea. 9 people have died from their hemorrhagic fever, and there are further 16 suspected cases in the eastern Kiintem province, where the disease has never previously been recorded. The deaths have been preliminarily linked to a funeral ceremony with 4 of the victims members of the same family. The virus is believed to be transmitted to people from fruit bats. Kenyan President William Ruto has urged the Kenyans to pray for their nation so that God can bestow favor and blessings to Kenya. President Ruto made those remarks in the Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi when hosting a national prayer day to seek God's intervention on challenges facing the country, including drought and hunger. Kenya is witnessing the worst drought in 40 years, with Kenyan officials saying at least 4.3 million people are in dire need of food assistance. Tunisian police have arrested 2 more prominent opponents of the President Kais Saied, and they had a radius of arrests targeting politicians and other critics of the government. Police raided the house of Noureddin Biri, a senior official in the biggest opposition party, Ennahda, and prominent the house of Mosaic FM head Noureddin Boutar, and arrested him after searching his home, his lawyer Dalila Ben Barek said. Political activist and lawyer Lazha Akremi was also arrested, lawyers and opposition activists said. Since Saturday, police have detained numerous figures who have voiced opposition to Said.
Was international news, sports news up next. And in sports news, President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has promised to award 5 million shillings for each goal scored by Simba and Yanga sports clubs in the TP Mazembe on Sunday. The matches are going to be played at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam. On their opening matches, Raja beat Ugandan Vipers 5-0 in Casablanca, and Simba lost 1-0 to Horoya, while Yanga was beaten 2-0 by the host US Monastir and Raids. Tunisia and Mazembe beat Real Bamako by 1-3 in Lubumbashi. In other sports news, the Simba SC team says its player Saido Tibazonkiza has recovered and will be ready to face Raja Casablanca on Saturday. The Simba SC Information and Communication Manager Ahmed Ali confirms that Simba is ready to face Raja Casablanca.
I've prepared it very well to make sure that we we win the game against Raja Casablanca, though we understand very well the game will be very tough. Casablanca, one of the toppest team in Africa, one of the giants of Africa, but this is Simba Sports Club, and here is Tanzania, and we are at our home ground, Benjamin Mkapa. We are very sure and confident that we are going to win, no matter what. So our fans are the ones who give us a lot of support, and are the ones who give us a courage and the confidence. When the Mkapa Stadium is full, no one can be safe over there. So I would like to call them. This is our game, this is our match, and this is our day. It's very important to secure 3 points.
Meanwhile, Ali vows that Simba will win the game, especially after the new morale boosted. The fans are organizing boxing matches, including paying the fighters before entering the ring. The secretary adds that the boxers' payment is more important than the fight itself. He refuted the claims of the Malawian boxer Henok Phiri, who said he has not been paid for the fight against Adam Zaro in Tanga City.
We are restricting this habit of organizing fights without having a financial capacity to pay boxers purse money. As an agreement with the boxers in their contracts to the accounts of commission. And when there is any agreement between a promoter and the boxer, TPBRC does not prohibit or refute that. But what we do is supervising or observing what is really going on.
Recently, Henok Phiri sent a message on social media claiming that he was not paid after his fight, something that TPBRC confirms to be untrue, and they will take action against him. We regret to inform you that TBC1, TBC2, Safari Channel, TBC Taifa, TBC FM and TBC International will be off air for 1 hour from 3 a.m. tomorrow. We apologize for any inconvenience. And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.